All right, Facebook and YouTube family. I know y'all are looking forward to our interview on tonight. We've been talking all week with all of the HBCU Southern University Edition book alumni. And let me tell y'all know your girl started at SU, so I got a soft spot for the folks I've been talking to this week. So, as always, definitely love my partnership that I have with Dr. Ashley Little and the HBCU Experience Movement LLC. This book is a Southern University Systems Edition that came out the other day. So, Courtney, I want you to start and tell everybody who you are. Don't give them too much because
Okay.
we can easy college. Just tell them a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Well, my name is Courtney Cierra Walker. I go by CC. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Went to school down here. My family is, well, my mom is from Baton Rouge, dad is from New Orleans. They met on Southern University's campus. That's how, pretty much how I was conceived. I don't know, my mama was sneaking to my daddy's dorm room. Don't tell anybody. But he's supposed to her on campus and everything.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. That is hilarious.
Yeah, so I was literally born into the Jaguar Nation.
Right, right. That's so funny. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I've talked about that all week, CC, how like with HBCUs is such family. I
Yes.
started at Southern, I had to come home, and then I completed my education at a PWI.
Okay.
When you finish there, you like deuces. I got my degree. I holler at y'all, but it's
Yes.
family with HBCU. Look, family. You create kids together, create business
Yes.
together. All of those things.
So,
So
question, Keisha, and I know this is more so about the HBCU experience book, but how was your experience going from an HBCU to a PWI?
it was super different. I will tell you that. I was at Southern for about 2 years. And then I left, I came home, had my baby, and then I went to
Okay.
the PWI. And so it was totally different. It's more business like, it's more let's get to what you need to get to. Not that you don't have fun, but it's a different kind of fun. It's
Got you.
not like, oh, let's go hang out on the yard like I would do when I was at Southern. It was like,
Yes.
oh, okay, you want to meet at the bistro for drinks? Like, is it a study date? It's like that. And then culturally, it wasn't the same. It was nobody that really kind of looked like me. There were no things that were talked about that were like me or that I could relate to as a Black woman. And so it's a lot different. And like I tell people, I don't say that I got a better or lesser education. I think I got a great education, but I think that's all I got.
Got you.
That was it. That's all I got was education. I didn't really build a lot of bonds. I'm a natural connector. I'm naturally going to gravitate, or people gravitate to me to form
Yes.
networks and stuff. But it's not like, me and her, me and whomever, we still kick it like now.
I
So it was
understand.
totally different.
Yes. See, if you would have got that degree, if you would have had that opportunity to get it from Southern, you would have still had those friends where you're hanging out getting drinks, on the Friday
Right.
or Saturday evening and building businesses and everything together. So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yep, it's a totally different experience. I don't regret it. I will say that. What I do regret is that I didn't think about going back. I think I just did what I felt like was best because as a new mom, you don't want to go too far. My mom was like, "You are not taking that baby if you're going back," and I
I
was like, "Oh
understand.
no, no, ma'am, no, Pam, I'm not leaving my baby here." So
So it's
we got
home
to
Baton
make
Rouge for you,
some
Keisha?
decisions.
Yes, definitely.
We gotta make some decisions. So yeah, it's definitely an experience. And then my daughter, like now, she goes to an HBCU, and so
Okay,
it's
awesome.
it's it's great that she saw the significance of it and the importance of
Definitely.
going. And I think that's what it was back for with me. I went to Southern in '94, so
Okay.
back then we really didn't talk about, nor was there a real big push of HBCUs. I don't think I knew the significance of it until I left and I was, much older. I think we should come out the gate
Definitely.
talking about that. Talking
Definitely.
about the significance of them and why they are important, not because they got the baddest band. I mean, it's certainly got the baddest band in the
Yes,
world.
we
We're gonna talk
do.
about that too. But things outside of what TV paints, you
Yes.
know,
And
it's
I've mentioned
crazy.
before, historically, like when you attend a HBCU, you're not gonna, I mean, you're gonna get that education,
Mhm.
that Black history that no one else teaches you.
Right.
So honestly, that made me open up my eyes. Like that made me become quote unquote woke, and
Yes.
embrace my naturalness. And everybody was always talking about how you have to look into the workforce. Like if you go into a predominantly white business, you have to
Mhm.
straighten your hair or you have to speak a certain
Yep.
type of way. Southern teaches you can go into any place of business you want to go into and you can get that darn position
Thank
as
you.
as yourself.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Embrace it. Embrace the naturalness. You don't have to flat iron your hair. You don't have to change your identity to fit in anywhere
Exactly.
because they teach you everything from how to love yourself to the knowledge in your brain. Whatever you go to
Right.
school for, they teach you thoroughly what you need to know to
Right.
exceed.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, being a product of two parents that went to HBCU, I'm just gonna assume that HBCU was your first choice.
It definitely was. I had no other option. Southern was like my only choice. Diller came about though. Honestly, I had a scholarship and I was gonna go to NOLA and I have family out there, but my dad and I, we talk always and he's like, girl, look,
Right.
you're going to Southern. You're my problem child. He calls me the problem child because I'm a little wild. I like to have fun. But he was like, I have to keep my eyes on you. You're not going to New Orleans. You're not going to New Orleans. You stay in your butt right here in BOR. You're going to Southern University. I'm like, okay. It is what it is. Which
Right.
initially I'm saying Southern was my first choice, but I honestly wanted to go to cosmetology school.
Mhm.
And that just turned out to be different after a conversation. I ended up just going to get my 4-year degree and I
Right.
loved it. And I'm grateful that I did because I wouldn't have experienced all that I've experienced thus far if I wouldn't
Right.
have went through the 4-year degree program.
Right. Let's talk about that a little bit. Share with us a little bit about what your experience was on the yard.
Okay. Well, Jack Preview was my first experience. And of course, my dad was in the band. He's a human jukebox, old school, whatever you want to call him, the old school human jukebox, World War III.
Right.
He's in the band. He was in the band. So my sister and I were very familiar with Southern's layout from
Right.
infancy. I can't remember ever not knowing where something was on campus. So we used to always go to band practice out there and everything. I loved every bit of it. Even like the home football games, we would go and he would walk us around campus and show us which building was where. My mom would do the same thing when she was out there with us. Like, hey, I attended this building when I was in undergrad. So just
Right.
having that knowledge base, I was more prone to choosing Southern than going anywhere else.
Right.
So Jack Preview actually taught me more about how to, be professional, one,
Mhm.
be studious, and to be on time. Like it taught me time management. They had this set schedule for us. And that was something that took me on through this day. At 7
Right.
o'clock, get up, we're gonna eat breakfast in the caf. 7:30, we're going to the financial aid building. And that was
Mhm.
something else that, I had to become familiar with because I was a student there and I didn't know anything about financial aid. I was a first time student. My
Right.
parents knew about it, but it's completely different 20 years, 17 years older.
Right.
So, long
Right.
story short, I learned about the financial aid. I learned more about Southern's new layout, the new buildings that they created,
Right.
and just meeting my teachers and becoming familiar with my advisors. That made me very comfortable with
Mhm.
starting the first semester, the fall semester.
Right.
So as I got into the fall semester, I got to meet some phenomenal people who I'm still in contact with to this day. And I moved on up until my sophomore year. My initial major was business management. I switched over to political science after speaking with a phenomenal man, Professor
Mhm.
Turner. And I don't know if he's still
Mm.
at Southern, but he was my history of civilization professor. And
Mm-hmm.
he pulled me to the side one day. He taught me two lessons. The first one was like Monique has been talking about this bonnet situation. Don't you leave your house or try to come into my classroom with a bonnet on. And I went to class
Mm-hmm.
one day with a bonnet on. Tried to anyway. That did not work. I had
Oh,
a fresh silk press, Keisha, and it was pouring down raining outside. I had my umbrella, my rain boots. I had the bonnet on, and I also had like a trash bag wrapped around it because I did not
right.
want my $75 style to get messed up. So
Hello.
I walked to the classroom, and my professor was like, "Oh, Miss Walker, where do you think you're going with that bonnet on your head?" So I'm like, Mr. Turner, I'm trying to come in here and sit down and learn. He was like, not with that bonnet on. You better go in that bathroom and take it off or go back to your car and meet me the next class period. And I'm like, what?
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, it was definitely serious. He had me to go and remove that bonnet if I wanted to sit through his class, and I definitely wasn't trying to waste my money. So I went to that bathroom with the quickness and unwrapped my hair and sat down in his classroom.
Right.
A few classes later, he talked to me. He used to always use my work as an example for others. So he would be like,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Walker, come up, show them how you wrote your notes, show them how you completed this assignment so they can know how to do it going forward. And
Right.
I was so embarrassed. I'm like, why do you always have to call me to the front of the class? It's so many, it's like 40 of us in here, but you always call me out. He was like, I have to show them what they need to be doing because they're slackers. He was just one of those overly enthused, and I love him to death. He was
Right.
like, because you come up here, you show them how you write your notes, how you do your work, so they can have an example of what to do going forward. And I'm like, okay. So then he sat me down again and was like, Courtney, so what's your major? And I was like, business management. He said, why? I said, what do you
Mm-hmm.
mean, why, Mr. Turner? Like, I want to open my own salon one day or something. And my mom also had a daycare. She had Rosa Sharon Daycare and Learning Center. She had that daycare for over 20 years. So she
Oh
was really gonna just, gift it to me if I was interested
right.
in childcare. But after coming up in that environment, I was like, I don't want to do that. So I didn't. That's a huge responsibility.
Yes.
I don't want to do that. I love babies, and I still love kids to this day. But being over a facility, I was like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
And so he was like, you need to consider changing your major to political science. And I'm like, why? He was like, because your note taking skills are so superb. He said, your public speaking skills are off the chain. He said, I really feel like you would be able to impact the community. You would be able to make a difference in your community. Think about it. And I'm like, think about it. I already had my mindset on business, but then I said,
Right.
you know what? Let me pray on this. Let me see,
Right.
because this could be God speaking through him. And lo
Right.
and behold, it definitely was God speaking through my professor. I prayed about it. I switched my major my second semester of my sophomore year to political science, and that was the best decision I could have ever made in my life, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you. I had a chance to intern with so many great people. I interned with the legislative aide for Sharon Weston Broom. I interned with
Mm-hmm.
the legislative aide for Tyra Wicker for about maybe 6 months. And I've also interned with the Louisiana Democratic Party, and that was an eye opener in itself.
Right.
But going back to changing my major, I was going through different classes, and of course, they teach you more on the black side of things. So we had like
Mm-hmm.
black political thought and black political theory, just like different courses that really intrigued me. So I took black political thought, and during that time, Trayvon Martin had just been murdered. So
Mm.
that incident and just seeing the injustice around it just ignited a spark in me that I didn't even know I had. That just opened my eyes. I was like, you know what? I need to be out there. I need to do something. And from that point, I learned that I wanted to be an advocate. I wanted to have a voice for those that didn't have voices.
Right.
And I wanted to change, I wanted to be a change maker in my community. So that was just everything. And from there, I was indecisive. And to this day, I'm indecisive about law school. I'm working for Murray and Murray Law Firm right now. I've
Okay.
been there for about a year and a half, and I love it. I love dealing with the
Yeah.
bankruptcy clients. I love learning new things, and Mr. Murray introduces me to new things every single day. I love
Yep.
everything about the company. But law school, I'm just on the fence about because I'm like, I'm more so a community person, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I gravitate towards people. They gravitate towards me.
Right.
People come to me with stories, and I don't even know them. They'll come telling me their whole life story, and I'm like, girl, what? Let me see if I can find something that, like, find a resource for you. So
Right.
it's just, even when I'm out volunteering, and I haven't been in a while. I had a baby 9 months ago. So during the
Oh,
pandemic, I was
congrats.
unable, thank you, to really volunteer. But there's an organization called It Takes a Village BR, and I used to go out there and help to feed the homeless. And there was so many of the homeless women that would come to me and just tell me the things that they've been through.
Mhm.
And it was some heartbreaking stories. And I'm like, girl,
Oh,
look,
I
I'm
can
gonna come back out here
imagine.
next Sunday with a resource for you. Like, we're gonna
Right.
get you back on your feet. So I definitely have a passion for helping women to get back on their feet after traumatic experiences.
Right.
So just having that background, the public administration background, and learning how to deal with people and learning how to connect people to resources, that's just been a blessing. And I
Right.
wouldn't know anything about connecting to resources if it had not been for Southern University.
Right, right. I think a lot of people, and everybody I've talked to this week, and also when I've talked with people with other HBCUs, um, I really want the audience to get that your experience is just not what's on campus.
Yes,
Your experience is mainly off campus. What the school instills in you, the
yes,
things that you want to do or that you feel empowered to do because you got this machine behind you, that
definitely.
opens a lot of doors um, for you. I am so glad to see Black political scientists. We need that in our
We
community,
definitely do.
especially in Louisiana. I'm from a small town in Louisiana. Um, and when I go home, sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we don't know any better, and again, it's because the resources aren't there, but the resources are available. We just don't have the right people advocating to get the resources
Definitely.
where they need to be, you know.
Definitely.
So
And
that's
that was something
it's
else that
really
I
good.
learned as well. Just in 2019, I organized a campaign for Preston Castile. He was running for a school board office, and just connecting with the people who wanted to go out and canvas. And it was amazing to see how many of us, they went out there to canvas because they wanted to see him win, but
Right,
it was the fact that they didn't have any jobs to even qualify for. Like, that was the only qualifying job that was out there for them for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm,
these are people that, some were educated, some had
right,
degrees, some only had high school diplomas, but they just didn't have the the work history or the work
right,
experience to get on and do something. So we were offering like $15 an hour for people to go out and canvas, and just that life-changing experience, being able to. And during that time, I'm not gonna lie, I was running CC's freelance services. Like, you need a resume, like doubling my bucks, you know what I'm saying? So
right,
I was
yes,
writing resumes for them and helping them, connecting them with jobs. I'm like, let me know if you need help. Let me know if you need help with
right,
interviewing, or if you feel like you're not qualified, we can tweak that resume a little bit to get you where you need to be. And there were so many
right,
of them that reached back out like, Courtney, thank you, because after campaigning, they didn't have anything to do. And I was luckily able to help them to get into positions to
right,
win. Aside from the
right.
campaign, and Preston won that campaign too. And he's a
Boom.
Southernite, okay?
We already knew he won. Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes, we already knew he was gonna win. That
Yes.
is great. That is amazing when we empower our community. I was talking to Janae last night and I said, it was us that elected a president.
Yes,
So
it
the
was.
next time somebody tell me my vote don't count, I'm gonna hit them in their throat
Yep.
because we proved this time that when we go out and we band together for a great cause, and it wasn't people just pulling levers and pushing buttons to elect, it was people who were in the trenches, who were researching, who was
Yes.
coming back and sharing information about candidates locally as well as nationally. And I also shared too, like, and I've had other, panels where I've talked with people we focus so much on the president when we don't understand that it's the people in our local community that really
Exactly.
impact that election. And so we got to start at home
That's
doing
true.
those things,
That's
getting
true.
people
It
registered
takes that
to vote.
groundwork. Yes, that's true. We
Yes.
have to educate the people, and that was another thing because we had this campaign called "Get Out the Vote," and
Hmm.
that was just making people, not really making, but encouraging people to go out to the polls and cast their votes. And a lot of people, and it's crazy to this day, it's 2021. But this was in 2019, and a lot of people were like, "Well, my vote don't count anyway. They're gonna select who they want to select anyway." No, your vote counts. I'm a political science major from Southern University. This Southern University, your vote
Right.
matters. You have to get
Yes.
out, you have to cast that vote because we are the voice for our community.
That's right. That's right. It's so true. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you work in that field and you really make sure that people know, you
Yes,
know, what's happening there. And I love your experience because again, like I said, it's outside of just not just on the campus. It's about what you got just being involved in the environment. I would tell people all the time, once you cross the hump, it's a whole nother world.
it
It
is.
almost felt cosmic from when you on scenic highway and you on your way,
Yes,
and then you hit that hump and my friends back home that didn't go to Southern, they would be like, girl, that's a bridge. Well, it's a hump to us.
it's
Okay.
the
That's what
hump.
we call
Yes,
it. We call it the hump. But on the other side of that, was just a huge world of, possibilities and things that we felt empowered to do because we had Black pride behind us.
yes,
We
we
knew what we could do. And I think a lot of that I still took with me to the PWI, and still lived in it. Still came out doing the best, that I can do. So that experience is amazing. And it's one
did.
that we definitely want more people, Black Americans especially, to experience. Think about why HBCUs were even started. That
Exactly, because
in
they didn't want us
itself.
educated, and especially not on an advanced level.
Right. Yes, not at all. So we're gonna brag a little bit about the best band in the land. We can't have an extra discussion without talking about the Human Jukebox. I
Yes,
mean,
my dad was a part of Human Jukebox, and
yes.
he's still affiliated. He still goes sometimes to practice when he can, and he
Hmm.
still connects with old band members. But yes,
Right.
we have the best band in the nation. Okay. And I used to love, that's another thing when I was in grad school. I wasn't undergrad, I was able to attend all of the events. But grad
Right.
school, I'm working full time. I'm going to school at night for 3 hours. I wasn't able to really be as involved as I would
Hmm.
have liked. But just hearing the band practice at night, I'm getting out my car, walking to one of the buildings, primarily Nelson Mandela School of Public Policy. I'm grabbing
Yeah.
my bag, I'm walking, and all of a sudden I hear the band practicing, and I'm like, thank you, Lord. I can feel I'm at home. I'm here.
Right. Right. Right.
I missed
Right.
that. I already missed the events. I'm like, something I can look forward to. Hopefully, they're still practicing by the time I'm done with class because I used to love to just
Right.
watch it.
Exactly. It's definitely a show. It is mesmerizing, and
It
I think
is.
a part of the HBCU experience is the band. I don't think you can have that experience without the band. Think about how they pitch to people. Look at
Yeah.
the commercials
Yeah.
during homecoming,
Yes.
um, YU Classic. One of the first images you see is of the band. The
Yes.
sound is the band. So you can't really attend one and be like, oh, I don't know about the band. Okay, where you went?
Exactly. Because that's one of the main things. We are known all across the nation. I think we
Right.
may be known internationally. I don't want to be
Yes.
wrong with that statement though, but I know for sure we're known in the United States. They know
Yes.
when Southern hits the ground. And that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Why you classic, the battle of the band? I am there.
Right.
Ready. Okay. I'm
Ready.
like,
Look.
come
Be
on,
like,
extra, do
I'm
your
here.
thing.
Right. Be like, she's here. I'm here. We are
Yes.
here. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. So I'm definitely excited about this book. I know it's going to be amazing. Tell us just a little bit about your chapter, not too much, because we need them to go run
Okay.
with that book.
Okay. So my chapter just starts off with a brief introduction about how I decided to go to Southern. It talked about how my parents met on campus.
Hmm.
Um, it also gives you a brief synopsis on how I got to where I am now. It started with the business management conversation on through my
Right,
MPA, and we talked about how fire the food is on campus. Oh my God. That's another
girlfriend.
thing you don't get anywhere else. See those HBCUs? They're gonna feed us right. We had the
I'm talking
redfish,
about right.
catfish, macaroni and cheese. And I often talk now, like Southern is the reason why I have these hips and thighs. I was a stick when I made it to the yard. I was 17 years old, probably 120 pounds. And now I'm
Uh-huh.
sitting at a good 175, and Southern put on a good 25 that I was never able to shake. Okay.
Yes, our freshman year we put on a lot of.
Yes.
I mean, I was there when I think Janae and I talked about it last night. McDonald's and Burger King right next to each other. The Whoppers was
Yes, the
99 cents.
Popeyes and everything else right
The
there.
Popeyes too. They was like
But you
right
know
there.
what? I would pass that up and go to the calf for the most part. I would eat the Popeyes and the Burger King and everything else, but the calf is where the food was, the soul
Yes.
food, that good old school homemade cooking.
Can you still? Is there still not enough parking space? Because you literally couldn't get in.
Well, I don't know. I haven't been during that time. That was like 2013. And when I
Yeah.
was in grad
Okay.
school, it was like 2016 through 2019, and everybody was gone by the time I made it to campus. So I don't really know how the parking is. I can't speak on that one,
Yeah. Oh
honestly.
my gosh, it used to
But the
be.
parking undergrad was bad.
Woo! I'm talking about listen. You just be like, you know what?
But you know what? That was the way to work off that freshman 15, quote unquote 25 that I put on.
Yes, yes, yes. Because we had to trek a mile from the state. Well, it wasn't even the stadium because it was where you would take, the freshman class, and
Yes.
you had to park there and walk all the way.
I have to tell you about my experience. And this is funny. Okay. So I was walking from the mini dome to Nelson Mandela. This was undergrad on a pretty Wednesday. I used to always dress up every pretty Wednesday. Why would my crazy butt put these 4-inch heels on? I have no idea. I put the heels on, didn't have a place to park, didn't even bring flats. That was another
No
lifelong
man,
experience. Keep your flats in the car. Southern taught me that. But
already.
I had my heels on, trying to dress to impress with my homegirl. Walking to Nelson Mandela, and my heel got caught in the crack. And I busted my butt in front of the Q stump. They didn't really have their own tree. They had a little stump during the time I was there. And all the Qs
Right.
were outside watching me as I bust my butt.
Oh,
And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I'm so
no,
embarrassed. They were like, it's
no.
okay, bottles fall sometime. It's okay. I was like, look, don't try to
Right.
help me because I'm already embarrassed.
Like, don't even try at this point because look, my
Yes.
soul just left my body. Okay.
I was over it. Okay. I was like, how am I gonna sit through class knowing I just bust my butt in front of all of these people? Especially the Q dogs. I know somebody caught me on camera. Somebody put me on social media somewhere.
Somewhere,
But every pretty
somewhere
Wednesday after
they
that, I
did
kept
that.
my flats in the car. I learned my lesson.
Oh my God. That's a walk. That is a
Yes,
walk
it
right
is.
there.
That's a walk.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit about, how you're involved with Southern now. Are you involved with alumni? Any of those things.
I have been a part of the Alumni Federation. Lately, I haven't been as active. I definitely need to give back to my SUBR because I love my Southern University. So I'm gonna definitely look into more ways to contribute to the Alumni Federation.
Right. Right. That's great. Oh my gosh. I have enjoyed chatting with you. But before we go, I want you to definitely tell everyone how they can get connected with you because I think you're doing some amazing things and they
Thank
need to
you.
tap in or find a way to tap in with you where they can do it in their communities as well.
Okay, Keisha, and before we wrap this interview, let me correct my parents because I know they probably tuned in right now. Like, I know this girl did not just tell the world I was sneaking into her daddy's dorm room. I was just joking with that part. They were married and long out of college before I was even conceived. But they did meet on campus and he did propose to her on campus.
He proposed
So,
on campus?
yes, right in front of Seymour.
What?
Yes,
Well,
he proposed to her. Yes.
everybody be at SIBO. What, when you going there to the SIBO?
But y'all can connect with me on Instagram. I currently don't have Facebook. I have a page. It's just I'm not able to access it for some reason. Everything is connected to an email that I no longer have access to. So I'm on Instagram at BG and CCCICI underscore. You can also follow my business page at CC's Freelance Services. Y'all should definitely get the book because it's a lot of us contributing authors from Southern University sharing our experience. So if you would love to know how the HBCU experience is, check it out. It's a must read, y'all. So
Yes.
you can get the book on Amazon, and the title of the book is The HBCU Experience, the Southern University System Edition. Go ahead and tap in. There's a link in my bio on Instagram, and it connects you directly to the Amazon account where you can purchase the book.
Yes, we need them to go get this book, honey.
Yes,
Cause
we
yes,
do.
we
We
need
need
them.
the book sold.
Yes, like we need them to get this book. This is a great book
It
talking about
is.
a great school and
Yes.
what that experience is like. So we definitely want them, need them to go
Yes,
and get
and
this book.
definitely the parents, I would say, I know anybody who wants to read it definitely needs to read it. It's a must read. But the parents of these high school students right
Right,
now trying to decide whether or not they're going to attend an HBCU, they need to definitely tap in, read the book,
right.
gain some insight on how it is to go to an HBCU, specifically Southern University, and let their children read it so they can have a more informed decision on what they're going to do.
Exactly, exactly. That makes a lot of sense. And definitely, if you are on the fence, I just want to say, get off and
Yes,
just
go to Southern.
listen. Yes, go to
Attend
Southern,
an HBCU,
talk to
but go to
somebody.
Southern if you're in Baton Rouge or Louisiana.
Yes,
Southern is the place to go. I love it. I love how it molded me professionally. I'm now a business owner of two
right,
successful businesses. And even just having that on your resume, your degree, Southern University, they
right.
know that school is accredited. And
Yes.
especially coming from right now in a business where I am with Murray and Murray,
Hmm.
we have lawyers, a lot of lawyers, successful lawyers coming from Southern University. They'll look
Yes.
at a resume and be like, "Oh, you have your grad degree from Southern? Oh, you have your undergrad from Southern? You're a Southern alum? Come on. They don't think twice. Come on,
Right.
they
Right.
know we have excellent education.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes,
Oh my gosh. They definitely need to get tapped into you. I have certainly enjoyed chatting with you on tonight.
I enjoyed
Good luck
chatting with
with the
you.
book. I know
Thank
it's gonna be great. I already heard y'all hit bestseller. So we
Yes,
just gonna keep
yes,
that
we
going.
did. I got that news today. I'm like, hold up. I had my glasses off. I was like, hold up. I see something from Dr. Ashley Little. I threw my glasses back on and I'm looking. I'm like, wait, we're like the best-selling authors now. What? I'm like, am I reading this wrong? I went back and read it again. I said, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, because that's
Yes.
awesome. And I'm just so grateful for everyone who contributed. Definitely grateful for Dr. Little and Janae Jameson. They've been phenomenal throughout this whole process. And I love them, love them, love them. And thank you
Yes.
so much for your time, Miss Keisha.
Oh, it was a pleasure, and we'll definitely get connected.
Yes, we will. You have a blessed weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.